Let me just tell y'all this right now. Let that shit go. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Shantizi. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much as usual for clicking on my little old video. I really appreciate it. Today I wanted to do a video on a topic that is very dear to my heart. Something that, listen, I wear strongly, and that is being a single mother. I want to call this video A Single Mother's Guide to Happiness Incomplete. And I want to say incomplete because, again, I'm still learning. My child, he's only 5. He's about to be 5 June 2nd, which I'm so excited about. So, you know, I'm about to be a mother of a 5-year-old. I have, if my kid is 5 and I haven't learned some things or gone through some things, especially as a single mom, listen, I'm not growing and I ain't ready for another baby, period. Okay, so I have learned some things, and I don't know, maybe no one could relate to this. Maybe this doesn't help anyone. But if you're a single mom and you are searching, like I am searching as well, for some kind of guidance, reassurance, and whatever you need to kind of go through the tough moments, I want to share my testimony with you guys. The first thing I would like to tell you guys about me is that I am the mother of a beautiful 4-year-old, well, 5-year-old, because he's going to be 5 next week. So I am the mother of a beautiful 5-year-old boy. He is strong, he is sweet, he is resilient, he's my everything. And you hear people say that a lot, and it's like, yeah, you got to say that because that's your kid. But it's different for me, or the difference for me, and I'm sure every woman, every mother, every parent has what makes their bond with their kids so special. What makes my bond with my kids so special is the fact that before I had him, I was a completely different person. My priorities were different. The things I cared about were different. The things I was doing, the way I was living my life was different. And, you know, here comes this pregnancy that I just, regardless of the situation with me and the person who impregnated me, okay, the father of my child, I want people to understand that I am a single mom because I decided that I wanted to keep my baby. I decided that I wanted to deal with whatever I had to deal with to make sure that he is good, because I wanted my child regardless of anyone else. And that's something that I always encourage him, and I always kind of like try to instill in him, like, I love you. My child knows nothing but love, because I instill that love in him. And we have to, as single parents, because, you know, they don't have their fathers around, and you don't want your kids to feel short of anything, especially emotionally. Because I don't really buy too much material things for my son. He's a regular kid. I raised him like a kid. But when it comes down to the love that I have for him, I let him know. Because if it's one thing, I grew up in a house, I'm Jamaican, y'all know. They don't tell their kids that they love them enough. I'm sure there's many that do, because I'm a Jamaican mom, and I tell my son I love him every day, in his sleep, when he's awake. Every single chance that I get, I'm telling him I love him, I kiss him, and all of that. So one thing I feel like we don't do a lot in our Jamaican household is tell our kids that we love them. And for me, I gotta let him know and feel this love double time, because there is a statistic on kids who are brought up without their parents, and I just never wanted, I never want that for my child. So that's one thing, I always instill love in my child. But just a little background, I decided I wanted to have my child. I had my child. No woman goes into a situation wanting, because you know, you see the memes, you see people talk about single mom, you see the stigmas on single mom, and as much as we're adults and we know what having sex does and all of that stuff, we don't always go into these situations expecting that boom, we're gonna get pregnant. And you know what I mean, especially when the situation is new. But unfortunately, it happens. Whether it's right or wrong, it happens. And now there's a kid, there's an innocent kid. And you know, you just decide, you just do what you have to do as a parent. Whatever you decide to do is something that you'll answer for later on in life. And that's how I choose to look at it. So I don't do the negativity thing anymore, because I used to be petty as hell, because when that anger is in us, it's in us. I went through homelessness. I was in a homeless shelter. I slept in my car. My son used to go to this daycare when I was working in Brooklyn. I used to work at this restaurant in Brooklyn, and my son used to go to this daycare. And I remember one night I had nowhere to go. I had absolutely nowhere to go. And I remember the lady who owns the daycare that my son was in during the day while I would work, she pretty much let me sleep in her daycare for a couple of nights. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that helped me. There's a lot of little things that I went through where in the moment I was laying on that floor, I'm like, yo, damn, yo, like, look at my life. Look where I am. Look what I'm going through. That's all I could focus on is like, well, I won't say that's all I could focus on, because I'm a person who I try to, even if the current situation is bad, I try to just always bring myself back to positivity. I mean, it's not easy. Sometimes it gets really, really hard, but I just have a way of, even if I go through my little depression, I bring myself back like, sis, no, you could do this. So, you know, when I was going through those situations, I never once thought in a million years that I would be in a 2-bedroom apartment with my son having his own room, his own furniture, his own everything, to where I have my own room, my own furniture, kitchen decorated, living room decorated, house decorated, bills are intact, you know, and I'm just growing as a mom every day. But I never thought I could have some of the things that I had. I never gave up though. Like, you know, I'm Pisces. So if you guys are like into zodiacs and stuff like that, y'all know we live in our imagination a lot. And I always, and this is why I'm going to do a video about speaking things into existence and, you know, all of that stuff, because I'm a very spiritual person. And I read The Secret and I applied that to my life before. And I can tell y'all that shit works. I don't care if y'all think we psycho, that shit works. So anyhow, you know, all these great things are happening for me, and I had to make a couple of changes in myself for my blessings to start pouring in. And I'm going to talk about that also in this video about blocking your own blessings. The first thing I would advise any single mother right now, if you're a single mom and you're angry with the father of your child because of whatever position you might be in, whatever situation you might be in, maybe he has other kids and he is in those kids' lives and he's not in your kid's life, which is similar to my situation. Whatever anger you might harbor over that situation, let me just tell y'all this right now. Let that shit go. That anger, that hurt, that don't help nobody. It don't help you. It don't help that baby. And your anger, your hurt don't hurt that nigga. You know what I'm saying? That shit only hurts you. So the first thing I would advise that you do is let that hurt go. And let me tell you why. I used to be so angry with the father of my child. Like, I used to be so angry with him for many things that, you know, I don't even need to get into because it's the past. But I used to be so angry. And it was one day a few years ago that I was going to work. This is when I was living in the hood in Brooklyn. This is after the shelter. I got myself a little 1-bedroom. No, I'm lying. I got myself a room. I was sharing with this other lady, and it was horrible. But I was sharing with her, and I had this, listen, my room was literally so freaking small. I had a plus size bed in there because I had bought myself a bedroom set when when I started getting myself back on my feet. I bought myself a bedroom set, which is a plus size bedroom set, which is now Sebastian's bedroom set, because the blessings be pouring in and you just flip them and just which is now Sebastian's bedroom set. And the only space I had in my room was to put my foot on the floor and open my bedroom door and come out. That was it. That was all I had. That was it. And that ain't much because the door opened into the bed. So I had to make sure I'm on this side of the room in the corner. It was so small, and it was me and Sebastian in that room. And, I did my thing, you know what I'm saying? I went to work. There was a point when I was working 2 full-time jobs, and I went to work, I did my thing, and now I'm here. So keep pushing, sis. You can do this. But anyways, just to backtrack into what I was saying. So I used to be so angry with him, and one day I was on my way to work, and it was this Uber lady, this Uber cab driver, and that lady probably don't even remember me, probably don't even remember the conversation that her and I had. But these are the little impacts that people leave on your lives, and this is why loving people and having people around, and this is why human contact is so important, because there are people that do leave impacts on your lives, whether they know it or not. I'm talking to this lady, and I don't know how. I don't know what we were talking about, if we were talking about our kids, or I don't know what we were talking about. And we came across the fact that I think she was talking about her baby daddies. I don't know what we were talking about. And we came across that topic, and, she was sharing her story with me. And I started sharing my story with her a little bit, telling her about what I'm going through with him. Because at the time, I was still entertaining conversations, and I was still entertaining conversations with no actions, meaning like trying to be cordial, trying to say, okay, you ain't doing nothing that you're supposed to be doing, but if you can still be in my child's life and still be a father, and if you're willing to do that, I'm willing to bite whatever I gotta bite and provide for my child as long as it takes, because a kid needs their dad, right? But not even that. You can't even give me that, my nigga. Like, you ain't giving me no money, and you can't even give the child attention. What type of man are you? You're not a provider and you're not a father. Like, that's crazy. So, I was just frustrated. I was just mad. And this is not a video to bash my baby daddy. This is not it, because I have far moved on from that. This is just a video to show y'all how I was able to elevate from being an angry Black single mom to a flourishing, single mom, no anger. She pretty much started telling me, I started telling her about my experience, and she was just like, let me tell you something. She had a bunch of kids, and, those men weren't around, and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And that lady basically looked at me and told me, listen, I wasted many of my years trying to chase these men to do the basic things that men are supposed to do. And I wish I had someone in my life who pulled me to the side and told me that it is not your responsibility to chase this man to be a good father. The only thing you can be responsible for is the type of mother you're going to be and how you're going to provide for your kids. And, she broke it down to me, and she's just like, sis, that man is showing you who, from the moment you found out that you were pregnant and you had to do many things by yourself, that man was showing you who he was. And even if you had your whole pregnancy with him, and somehow he wasn't in your child's life, or he turns out to be someone who just wasn't a good father, wasn't a trying father, he is showing you who he is daily. Like, it doesn't matter what this nigga tells you. You see what he shows you, that speaks volume. So, I was the woman who took her baby daddy off child support because she tried to freaking, live peacefully and tried to freaking make sure that no matter what, he's in my kid's life. And nothing. You can't do, I've never asked for money. You can't do nothing. So it's like, you know what I mean? What is the point? What is the point of you running after this person? And this is actually breaking it down to me. And I'm just like, yo, I have spent so many months, and I'm going to say months. My child is 5. He's only been around for a few. My child has probably only seen his dad like 3 times, give or take. So I'm going to say I've spent months in between years of trying to get on the same page, and it just doesn't work. And when I spoke to her, I'm just like, yo, sis, you are so right. You are so right. So that was the first step in my healing process. And that healed me because I no longer had that resentment, and I no longer had that hate. And I'm human, and I'm an open book, and I'm flawed. And I will tell you that even though I spoke with her a few years ago, that there are moments when I rally back like, yo, you know what I mean? Because as single moms, we go through shit, man. And like, if you're a single mom of a 1-year-old, let me tell you something. Make sure you build yourself up, heal yourself, especially a boy. Heal yourself, build yourself up to be a queen, so that you can pretty much be prepared for the little things. And like I said, there are times when I would rally back to the angry, to the frustrated, because we're humans. And I just pretty much put it back in my mind and say, let it go. And I'll do a little petty shit or whatever, you know what I mean, because I'm human. But I always try to bring myself back, like, you know what I mean, sis, you don't need to do this. You don't need to bring yourself to this point. You've done so much for yourself, by yourself. You don't even need to be petty, you know what I mean? You don't need to do none of that.